Good morning and welcome to Angela's Busy Bees Garden and Homestead. And today I would like to give you a walkthrough of my garden so that you can see what I have planted thus far. And in this garden area I have my red onions and strawberries, and as you can see, a lot of my strawberries are flowering. And these are the Quinault strawberries. Along the fence line I have blackberries that are blooming and are setting fruit. The same thing on the other side here. Also, I have some okra here that I need to plant. Here is my Texas Star hibiscus that will be greeting you when you come into this garden area. Over here I have cayenne pepper, garlic, onions, and parsley. Look at that parsley, how it has grown. And I just cut from it about 2 weeks ago. But all of these are cayenne peppers in this bed. I have my dill here. More strawberries in these crates. And as you can see, these blackberries are casting down, and I need to pull them up and trellis them along the fence line. But as you can see, more strawberries. Over here I have tomatoes in these 5-gallon buckets. Raspberry bush. More tomatoes in these barrels. I have my dill, some dahlias here. These are the short variety that grows 12 to 14 inches tall. Another dill plant. Here's some iceberg lettuce here. More tomatoes, celery, raspberry bush, more iceberg lettuce. And this is a volunteer raspberry bush here that I'm going to dig up and put in a pot and possibly try to sell it. Here's some celery, another raspberry bush, tomatoes, and this is some basil mixed with the tomatoes. More tomatoes with some parsley there, and more tomatoes, and I think this is also some parsley in the barrel. Over here I have my red bell peppers, a row of eggplant, and then a row of the yellow bell peppers there in the back. I have a kale plant that I'm allowing to go to seed, and I'll probably harvest some of those lower leaves off of it. Here's a lantana, the yellow. I absolutely love this flower. I can't wait till it really gets big and bushy. In the back there I have another tomato. And in this bed I have my bell peppers, the green bell, a row of eggplant, and another row of the green bell. And these are very young plants, and this is why I like to start my peppers early, because they take forever to really grow. And then over here along this trellis I have some sugar snap peas. Okay. Here I have a butterfly bush, and I just placed a pot here on the ground, and my intention was to plant it somewhere else later. But when I tried to pull the pot up, the roots had gone from inside the pot down into the ground, so it's difficult to move, but I may just let it sit here. Over in this bed I have jalapeno peppers, eggplant, onions, and some orange bell peppers in the back. And I've recently added some more soil to this bed to try to elevate it so that I can plant the rest of my orange bell peppers there in the back. And that's why you see the different color in the soil. Over here I have another lantana that was a clearance plant, so I'm not sure what color the flowers will be, but that's what that is. Here along the fence line I see that my grapes are now setting in, and looks like it will be setting fruit very early. You see that. Over here are more tomatoes in this container. Here I have more kale and baby bok choy. More tomatoes here. Tomatoes and tomatoes. Here I have my lemon balm coming back. Sugar snap peas there. And this is the plant that I purchased from Diva. Can't think of the name of it right now, but it's great for fertilization of your vegetables. But you can see how it's growing. Sugar snap peas, lemonade blueberries here and here, putting on fruit. More lemon balm. These are the regular blueberries here, and they're in the back. Here is my peppermint and spearmint there in the back. More sugar snap peas. And I may need to drop a few more seeds in here because a lot of them did not germinate. Over here I have my sage, rosemary, onion chives, oregano, cilantro, and lavender. And the blackberries are getting out of hand. All of this needs to be pulled back up and staked. Some of them have touched ground, and I will have to dig them up and also pop them up. Here is my kiwi plant. It started producing foliage, and then we had some cold temperatures and those leaves died, but I see that new leaves are coming back on the branches, so it's doing okay. Can you see how this lavender has grown? It's really taking over this bed. In the back here I have some echinacea and some coneflowers. In this red container here I have some Swiss chard. I have some mustard green seeds that I've recently sowed in this container and also in this one. And in this one I have the red giant mustard greens. But I'm looking here because I've added compost to my bin. There must have been some potato leaves in here because what I'm seeing also are some potato sprouts. And I think I'll just let them grow in here with my red giant mustards. Here are more blackberries that I need to just clip off and take to the farmer's market on my next visit. And then over here I have my parsley, potatoes, and I have a few romaine lettuce and basil. Also thyme in this bed. And as you can see, the potatoes have started coming up nicely. And over in this container I have more sage that I grew from seed. And then now I'll take you over into the area over here. Over in this area I have my banana peppers in these 5-gallon containers. And in this bed I have onions, radishes, mixed lettuces, baby bok choy. I have my carrots that are coming up. beets, celery is in here. I don't see anything coming up just yet. And more onions. Over here I have my cherry 100 tomatoes are all in this area. There's some over there. As you can see, they're still very young. I tried to plant them as deep as I could, but they had really gotten tall. And so hoping that the stem will strengthen up. There's more cherry 100s over here in this black container. Over here I have my white strawberries, the pine berries that I received from the Carolina gardener, mixed in with some onions. And then also I have a dahlia here in this container that's coming up. And my collards are looking really beautiful. And the kale are growing as well. And onions are mixed in with the collards and the kale. Some of the leaves have really grown beautifully. Over here I have another potato bed mixed with oregano, thyme, and as you can see, the potatoes are sprouting up nicely. And these are the white potatoes. Over in this bed I have my Swiss chard and some onions mixed in as well. And over in the back over there is my cut flower garden. And I need to add my zinnias into that bed. And I have a few other flowers, sunflowers also, that I will be adding to this bed. There are irises, daylilies, all sorts of flowers in here. I can't really remember everything until I see it come up. But this is my cut flower garden area here. And then over in the main garden here, I have more collards, spinach, and onions, as you can see. I have my asparagus in this bed, and I'll probably be adding some strawberries in here as well, because I understand they are great companion plants. This is where I planted my mustard greens and turnips and yellow onions. As you can see, they've come up. And everything is looking dry, but we're expecting rain today. So I've held off watering this morning in anticipation of the rain. And in this bed I have my broccoli, some onions, some spinach, a few cabbages in here as well. And there's a rose bush. I see here that my fig tree is coming back. And among all of your fruit trees, you'll find that the fig tree is the last one that will put on foliage, where at least it will be among some of the last ones. And you may think that it's dead, but it's not. It just takes quite a while for you to see the leaves come back onto it. And this is my peach tree here. In this bed I have cabbage, onions, and Brussels sprouts, and they're doing really beautifully as well. And a few spinach plants as well. And here I have some potatoes that are growing in this bag. And these potatoes were actually store-bought potatoes that started sprouting before we could eat them. And so I just threw them in the bag just to see how they will do. And over here is my herb bed. And as you can see, I've got garlic, coneflowers, I've got thyme in here. This is a mum. I think it's a yellow mum. But look at this oregano and parsley. And all of this will be harvested for the farmers market on Tuesday. I have some salvia, absolutely beautiful. I just love these. And here's some sage, more garlic and onions over here. I have my rosemary, some thyme, and another bush of oregano that has really grown beautifully. And here is a plum tree here. And behind the plum tree are the turnips, mustards, and onions. In this bed, I sowed some seeds of corn, and a lot of them have not come up. And so I'm thinking about maybe just sowing some seeds in containers, and then that way I'll be able to add it to this bed. And over here is where I plan to plant my green beans, but I haven't done so as of yet. More fruit trees. Here's a pear tree here, and I think this is an apple tree. And here's another plum tree. And would you look at that, guys? I'm just seeing this for the first time. Wow. Well, let's see what will happen. Usually the first time it sets fruit, it usually drops to the ground. So I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed and see what happens. And in these tires, I haven't planted anything as of yet, but this is where my squash and zucchini will be planted. And over here, the only thing I've planted over here so far is in this container here, which is my celery. And I planted some beets over here. But look like something has been digging in here, and I bet it's the squirrels, as you can see here. So I'll have to come in and fix all of this. But so far, guys, this is what I have done so far in the market garden. I have potatoes in all of these totes. Okay, nothing has come up in this one yet. Here's a wheelbarrow of spearmint. And let me just check this one. Okay, I see some of the potatoes coming up in this bag. Okay, I see some sprouts coming up in these totes with the potatoes, as you can see. And they're coming up nicely. So once it gets a couple of inches taller, I'll add more soil to layer the potatoes. Thank you so much. God bless. Bye-bye.